Hello, hello, everyone. It's been so long. I hope you're doing okay. This pandemic seems like it's never ending, but I'm glad that we have each other and we need to stay strong throughout this. So, because so many of us are at home without the opportunities of starting conversations with strangers or meeting our friends or our classmates, I thought that I could create a series of videos to focus on these pronunciation and conversation skills. So look out for idioms and phrasal verbs. Today, I'm going to introduce you to some phrasal verbs that I have taught my amazing workplace class. These phrasal verbs, though, you can use at work or in your own personal life. Now, let's start. So, phrasal verbs are essentially two or three words, okay? The first part is going to be a verb, and then the second part may either be a preposition or another word. Sometimes a phrasal verb can be separated with a noun or a pronoun in the middle. Sometimes they can't. So I want to ask you, do you recognize any of these? More common phrasal verbs that you may know of are like catch up or hang out, right? Separately, like let's take a look at fill out. This is a common one to fill out an application, right? Fill out the paperwork, fill out the report. Now, separately, fill, we know what that means, right? For example, if you have a bucket and you fill it with water to the top, and we know out like in and out. But when we put these two words together, voila, it creates a new meaning. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these. To bring up. So at a meeting, when you bring up something, it usually means to mention or introduce something or an idea. So anyone can bring something up during a meeting, a call, or a casual conversation, right? So you notice here, you can put something in between this phrasal verb if you choose to. You don't have to, though. So in the example I have below, it says, during my meeting with my boss today, I'm going to bring up the possibility of getting a salary raise, right? Sometimes, too, in your own personal life, you can bring up something that maybe is a problem. Like if you and your significant other, like your boyfriend or your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, if you have a problem with them, you can say, I need to bring up something, right? In my case, maybe it's like, your dirty socks are everywhere in the house, right? I'm just kidding. Okay, so let's continue. Abide by. Pronunciation, abide by. Abide by is, think of the law, the police, the military, to follow specific rules, right? So when you're hired at a company, for example, you need to abide by their rules. In our society, in our world, everyone needs to abide by traffic laws. If you don't, uh-oh, you're going to get a ticket, right? And that's not fun. Okay, to bank on. To bank on means to hope or to bet or to kind of lean towards one way that something will happen. So, for example, I'm hoping my friend gets that promotion, or my friend is getting that promotion so I can go for her job, right? Because I don't want to take her job. I want her to get a promotion first, and then there's space for me to come and apply for hers, right? So sometimes when you bank on something, you're really, really hoping it works. So in this case, I told my class, like, if we go to Vegas and I have $1,000 and I gamble and I'm a bad gambler, I have a bad poker face, so I lose my money. It goes from 1,000 to 500 to 200 to 100 to $5. Nothing, right? So I'm banking on this last $5 bill to win me back my money, right? I'm like hoping, desperately hoping that it's going to work, that this plan is going to work, okay? Now let's see. What else do we have? To brush up on. I really like this one. This is a common one. Brush up on. So you notice that there's 3 parts. Now, many of you are taking English classes, so maybe you learned English in your past. And then, some years went by and you forgot a lot of the grammar, the rules, the pronunciation. And now, in this phase of your life, you're relearning this information, right? But you're not just relearning it, it's improving. Like you're learning it in an even better way. So, my example here is I want to brush up on my Spanish before the big business conference in Mexico. So maybe in this case, you already know the language a little bit, but to get better at it, to improve it, to relearn it, you need to brush up on it, okay? Now, to fill out. To complete, to finish a form or a report or anything like that, right? With fill in the blanks. So my example is, I just need you to fill out these forms at the dentist before we see you, right? Commonly, before you go to the dentist, the doctor, you need to fill out paperwork, right? Okay, let's see what's next. To cut down on. Now, let me tell you, with this pandemic, I have been eating a lot of sugar, a lot of ice cream, cookies, and it's not good. It's not good for your health, right? Because that happens, right? So I need to cut down on my sweets, my sugars. Cut down on means reduce, limit, okay? So in this case here, to cut down on, to reduce. For example, in the business world, right now with the pandemic, money is tight right now, meaning there's not too much money. So we need to cut down on spending, right? We need to save and not spend so much, okay? Fall through. Oh, this happens a lot. Nothing in life goes as you plan, right? Sometimes things fail, sometimes they don't go according to plan. So, for example, I was supposed to get a promotion last March, but plans fell through. Maybe because my company had to cut down on spending, so there was not enough money for me to get that job, right? In your personal life, maybe you have plans to meet your friend for coffee or for lunch, but your friend calls you and says, I'm sorry, I have a work meeting. I can't go meet with you at lunch anymore. So the plans fall through. The plans don't work anymore, right? Okay, kick off. Now you see these people running at the start line? That's exactly what it means to kick off. To kick off something means to start something. So oftentimes you kick off the new year with positive energy. Everyone wants to exercise. Everyone wants to get fit, healthy, strong, right? But what happens after the kickoff in January? Everyone gets gym memberships. Everyone tries to eat healthy, drink more water, no sugar, no soda. And then February, March, and people kind of forget about their goals, right? Not everyone, but a lot of Americans. So to kick off means to start. You see this phrasal verb a lot during January, the first week of January, to kick off. Now, run out of, you see my picture of the toilet paper, because during the pandemic, remember when things were crazy, there was no toilet paper anywhere. So to run out of means to finish something. There's no more of something. So I said, during the pandemic, people rushed to the stores to purchase toilet paper, like Costco, Walmart, Target, right? We were in trouble when we ran out of toilet paper at the house. Dun, dun, dun. Because before, you could not buy it anywhere. It was a hot commodity, meaning everyone was looking for it, right? You can run out of time. You can run out of money. You can run out of patience, right? There's a lot of things to run out of. Okay. Now, turn down. Turn down means you're saying no to something. You're refusing something. So, in my dreams, Apple just asked me to take a job in San Francisco, but I will turn down the offer to stay with my family in Florida, for example. Now, in your personal life, sometimes in romantic comedies, you may see like this man and he's like fallen in love with this woman and he thinks she's so beautiful. And he goes to her and he says, "Will you go to dinner with me? Or will you marry me?" And then the girl's like, "No, no thanks." She turns him down, right? In this case, you can put a noun between the phrasal verb, turn him down, right? To say no. But oftentimes, turn down can be used to say no to a job. You can also reduce, turn down could also mean like reduce the volume, right? Can you turn down the volume? It's too loud, right? Okay. Now let's see. How well do you remember everything? What does brush up on mean? Brush up on, think about maybe learning your language, learning English, right? It's something you learned in the past, but you want to improve on it. You want to learn it better this time. So you're going to brush up on it, okay? Abide by laws, traffic, government, military. You need to abide by their rules or there will be trouble, right? To kick off the new year, to start the new year, right? With positive energy, right? Okay, fill out. To fill out means to complete or finish a document or form or something like that. Okay, we just did this one, turn down. Turn down the volume. Okay, you can do that. But turn down in this case means for you to refuse, for you to say no to a job or no to someone. To bank on. Remember gambling, you're hoping that something works out in your favor for the better, okay? To fall through, this happens in life all the time. So many people had plans to go to their home countries to visit their families, but because of the coronavirus, their plans fell through. Now they have to wait a little longer before they can do that, right? To run out of toilet paper, money, time, right? It means to say that there's no more of it. It's finished, right? To cut down on, think of me and my sweets and my cookies. Cut down on means reduce, right? But right now, what's happening with the market, the situation, the businesses, they are cutting down on employees, cutting down on spending because there's not enough work, there's not enough customers right now, right? So everyone is hurting right now. Okay, bring up is to introduce or mention an idea, okay? So I hope that this short video helps you at least introduce some of these phrasal verbs. My goal is I'm going to introduce you some phrasal verbs and idioms that I'm currently teaching in my class. And later I'm going to have a conversation with my friend where we use all of these together. And you can hear what it sounds like in a natural speed with two Americans talking. And I'll make sure that it's extra clear for you to hear. Okay. As always, if you have any questions at all, you know where to find me. And if you have any questions about what you would like to learn or have any recommendations, I am all ears. I'm here for you. Okay. Anyways, take good care, stay safe, and I will see all of you very soon. Bye. Look out for the video on idioms, okay? Take care. Bye.